Comment question of the video goes out to the drifters out there. Why do you still drift in GTA 5 Online? What is going on, Herd? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the long-awaited update on the top 10 drift cars in GTA Online. Or top 10 ways to rename a video. Black Sheep, why would you make another video like this? It's just for views. Honestly, if you want the straight up answer, a lot has changed. I think there's 6 new vehicles on the top 10 list. Some of the vehicles that were heavy hitters prior are no longer on the list. There's a lot of things to keep in consideration in the drift game. So today we will be updating the top 10 drift cars in GTA Online. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is an opinionated video. I'm not saying that these are the best for every person or every person should have this view. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is I took in account, I watched all of the old Does It Drift videos. I tried to keep in account other people's opinions that are high up and skilled, kind of the tryhards in the drift community, if you will. We'll be explaining why each car got its position and along with some of the facts that go with the vehicle as well. So sit back. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure you leave a like below and subscribe to the damn channel if you haven't yet. Jesus. Starting right off the bat, number 10 goes to the Karen 190Z. The 190Z is a sports classic vehicle. It goes for $900,000. It was part of the Doomsday Heist update. It released on February 20th of 2018. The vehicle is a combination of the Datsun 240Z, Nissan Fairlady, Nissan S30, and the Toyota 2000 GT. Now this is a car for the higher skilled drifter, okay? It's a higher difficulty car. That's why some of you are probably thinking, well, this car doesn't deserve to be on this list, Black Sheep. It does. It actually is a bit tougher to engage the speed boost, I will admit. But once you figure out how to do it and you can consistently do it, which I'm still having trouble with, don't get me wrong, I am still having trouble with a little bit. But I'm noticing that I'm getting better and better every time I'm in that vehicle. And believe it or not, this one is a pretty sought-after vehicle by some of the more competitive style drifters, some of the more, as they kind of refer to themselves as the tryhards. All in all, the 190Z slips into the list of the top 10, which brings us in to number 9. Number 9 goes to the Volker Nebula Turbo. This car is a sports classic car. It goes for $797,000. It was part of the Diamond Casino and Resort update. It released specifically on August 22nd of 2019. It's modeled after the first generation Volvo 242 two-door sedan and the 242 GT. This is one of those vehicles that some may think should be a little bit higher, but it is hard to connect the longer corners. It is kind of a one-wheel wonder when you're a bit straighter and trying to connect some of those longer corners. But overall, it is a very unique handling line, and it is a pretty cool single-gear drifter. With that said, it does the speed boost just fine, and yes, you can link those corners at the track pretty well. Number 8 on the list, another one that people may think should be higher on the list, but let's get into it, the Classe Drift Yosemite. This is a muscle vehicle. It goes for $1,308,000 or for a trade-in price of $981,000. This again was part of the Diamond Casino and Resort update. It released specifically on February 6th of 2020. It's modeled after the second generation Chevy C10 and obviously takes many inspirations coming from the Ken Block F-150 Huna truck. This vehicle does have a very slow, icy-like low end with the single gear, but once you get it up in the top end and do the speed boost, it's much more of a point and spin instead of being able to flutter around and really catch yourself. It is a very unique line as well, but compared to the others in the list, it's just not going to compete to the same caliber. Again, 2 thumbs up to them for incorporating something like this into the game. Number 7 goes to the Bravado Hellfire. Another muscle vehicle, $745,000. Another addition from the Diamond Casino and Resort update, specifically releasing on September 5th, 2019. It's modeled after the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon with some influence of the 5th generation Camaro. It's a very powerful, planted, and speedy drift car, but it is heavy, it is cumbersome, and with that weight comes grip in some of the handbrake slides. You really have to be at an exaggerated angle to keep the momentum without doing burnouts. But with that said, once you get the handling line down, it is a very unique handling line once again. It's planted, it's quick, it makes it speedy, but yet it has enough power to spin those tires and keep you in a drift. So a very cool vehicle, a lot of fun to drive, and again, a pretty cool addition to your drift garage, even though it is not necessarily, much of a drift vehicle. Speaking about not much of a drift vehicle brings us into number 6, possibly the most overlooked drift-worthy vehicle in GTA 5. That is going to be the Shyster Fusillade. It's a sports car. It goes for $36,000, or you can get it off the street free if you wait for the spawn set. It is an original car to the game, meaning it released on day one right alongside the game. It is modeled after the Chrysler Crossfire SRT6, which, you know, as I said, not much of a drifter in the real world. But because of that, in GTA 5, it is possibly the most overlooked drift-worthy car by far in the game. It's a great car. You can put a spoiler on there and really tune it up so it makes it one of the most tune-worthy cars too. Most drift cars, you're not going to be able to put a spoiler on there and make it drift-worthy. It's going to be pretty crappy. That speed boost is going to catch up to you. It's just going to, long story short, without getting into it, the Fusillade is one of the few cars that you can put a spoiler on. You can add that little bit. Now, with that said, it's very large lack of customization on the car in general, which brings it down, even with its great handling line, to number 6. Number 5 is one of those vehicles that people were extremely upset to see not on the first list. It is the Karen Futo, a sports car, $12,000, or again, free off the street if you wait for the spawn set. It is an original car to the game, just like the Fusillade, or Fusillade, and it is modeled after the very nostalgic Toyota Corolla 11 Coupe, aka the AE86. This is an angle-heavy vehicle, meaning you're going to have to really keep that body momentum rocking and rolling to keep a good, consistent drift corner to corner. But once you figure that out and you figure out how to engage it, it is a very good little drift car. Great single-gear drifter, one of the best beginner cars in the game, again, for single-gear drifting because it's speedy and it teaches you that momentum and body roll. But it is a very nostalgic car. So bringing in that ability, when you get the proper tune on her and you do start drifting her sideways and you figure it out, again, higher skill vehicle. This is more of a skilled drifter car once you figure it out. She's a heavy hitter and she's very nostalgic. Number 4 brings in the Apocalypse ZR380. It's a sports vehicle going for $2,138,640, or a cool trade-in price of $1,608,000. It was part of the Arena War update. I do not have the specific date in which it hit the game, but it is heavily modeled after the Nissan 350Z and the Nissan 370Z. This is a great drifter overall, but it cannot be used on tracks. It has a great speed boost and it has great momentum, but I hate the armor. All in all, this car could be one of the top 3 vehicles in the game if those couple things were figured out. We need to be able to get rid of that armor and make it not look like a ridiculous apocalyptic car, and we got to be able to bring it on normal tracks. It can't just be on Arena Wars tracks, all right? So that is why it falls into number 4 instead of number 3. Taking number 3 away from the ZR380 is going to be the Benefactor Schwarzer. The Schwarzer is a very iconic drift car in the GTA 5 community, not that it's nostalgic outside in the real world. The Schwarzer is a sports car. It goes for $80,000, or free again if you get it off the street. This one is a bit more rare to find on the street, but it certainly is possible. It as well is original to the game, releasing on day one alongside the game. It's heavily modeled after the Mercedes E550 Coupe, with many other Mercedes-Benz influences coming alongside that. This is overall the best beginner car by far, in my opinion. Aside from the Karen Futo, which is a lot different handling line for your beginners and the single gear drift, this is a slow, I wouldn't even say cumbersome, very slow. It allows you to set up going into that corner. It allows you to be much more, it's just sluggish, but it has all of the slippery, icy handling line that you can imagine and want. Now, with those comes one bad thing. It's slow. In addition to that, there's not a ton of customizations to do to it. When people ask me in the comments section, what vehicle should I get? I'm brand new to drifting. A lot of people will either say the Futo or the Schwarzer. My opinion is usually go with the Schwarzer, even though I started with the Futo. The Futo is a little bit more advanced in the single gear drift than the Schwarzer is. And the Futo is a lot more advanced once you get the speed boost down. The Schwarzer isn't. It's very, very engaging in the speed boost. It's a great car to get started with. You can do your figure eights and your donuts, and you can really get that inertia, body momentum, throttle control, fluttering, all of the good stuff that goes along with learning how to drift and getting down the techniques. A great car without a doubt, but not better than the top 2. Moving into number 2, a heavy hitter from day one in the GTA 5 drift community, the Dubachi Rapid GT sports vehicle. 132,000 or 142,000 depending on if you get the roadster or the hardtop. As I already said, original to the game, came in day one, modeled heavily after the Aston Martin Vantage Roadster. Great angle, great boost, good speed all in all, great handling. I love the style I can hold in this car. If I could pick the Rapid GT and put that handling line in a few different vehicles, oh, you better believe I'd be doing it. The biggest problem I have with the Rapid GT is there is not a dang lick of customizations in the Los Santos Customs. If we can make this a Benny's vehicle, if we could just add in the additions like we did with the Futo and the Hyundai Tiburon, what is that in the dang game? I forget what it is. Long story short, you know what I'm talking about. If we can just add in some liveries and make this thing just make it a more unique vehicle, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, we're asking a lot. And again, in all reality, this isn't much of a real world style drifter, okay? This is the Rapid GT. It's a dang Aston Martin Vantage Roadster when it all comes down to it. I'm not really complaining all that heavily. I'm just really surprised to see a day one vehicle be such a heavy hitter still so late in the game. Before we get into number 1, there are some honorable mentions we gotta give out there. The old Mamba. The Mamba is like overly slick. It's very, a lot of body roll too. A lot of body roll side to side, and because it's so slick, it's one of those cars that takes quite some time to get up to speed. The Mamba's a fun car, but she's real slow, and it just did not make the list tonight. The original Banshee, without the 900R upgrade package. It's fast, it's got a great second gear speed boost, but it's finicky, it's touchy, overly touchy, and it really wants to straighten out on you a little bit more than what I would like. So again, just not quite cutting it for the top 10 list. The Willard Faction. Another very fun, very good beginner drift car. Great single gear drifter, has a great easy to engage speed boost. However, you hit a tiny curb or a little bump and you are done for. It's so easy to get that car to spin out, and it just doesn't handle the curbs correctly. There's something in that handling line. It's screwed. Again, not getting into the top 10 list. One of them that you're probably wondering, where the heck did it go? There's vehicles like the Viserys that were featured in our prior top 10 list, that those cars have been patched up. They're long gone, guys. Those are not drift-worthy vehicles anymore. But there is one vehicle that made our top 10 list, and it was very high, that did not cut it this time. That is the Comet Retro. This car almost seems altered, like it's been slightly altered over time. I don't know if I don't have the proper tune in. I don't know, but I was not able to really get a handling line that I enjoyed in that car versus all of the other 10 cars that made it on the list. I'm talking even the 190Z. The 190Z held its spot like a champ, number 10. So those were some honorable mentions. Of course, there's more. There's a few in the Arena Wars package. There's a couple in Benny's. I'm not getting too far into those because, again, honorable mention is just an honorable mention. Let's get to number 1, damn it. Number 1, if you have not guessed it yet, I'm sure everybody has it down, the Bravado Banshee 900R. It is a supercar. You have to buy the sports Banshee, the stock Banshee. I believe that's $105,000. I didn't jot that stat down. $105,000 or whatever for the convertible. But long story short, $105,000 plus a $565,000 upgrade to turn it into the 900R. The 900R was part of the January 2016 update. I loosely remember this. It was some racing updates. I remember the Sultan RS also released at the same time. The vehicle is based on a 2006 Dodge Viper SRT 10 that was built by West Coast Customs for a contest put on by a video game retailer. Maybe you've heard of them. It was GameStop. This vehicle has awesome angle. It has such a great handbrake slide. It's got an awesome single gear ability. It was one of the heaviest hitters in my single gear days, and you could put a spoiler on it for that. You still see people rock the spoiler on the Banshee 900R. It's planted to the ground. It handles damage pretty well. I wish I got to drift this thing on week 1 when it came out because they did patch it up slightly. Of course, what we've had since then is what we've had for the whole time. It hasn't been patched at all or touched since, but there was enough complaining from the community back in the day that unfortunately they patched up the original handling line, which was a better handling line for us. Overall, I'd say the large portion of the community is going to agree the Bravado Banshee 900R is the heaviest hitter in the GTA 5 drift community. It's overall one of the best customizations. It has that RX-7 reminiscent. Although it is a Dodge Viper, it has a little bit of that JDM look, like I said, kind of that RX-7 look. And overall, that handling line, how do you beat it? How do you beat it? Even the Rapid GT, it just isn't going to beat it even if it had more customizations. So hopefully you guys can at least understand why we placed these vehicles why we did. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you did, make sure you leave a like below. With that said, guys, I appreciate every single one of you tuning in, liking, comment, and subscribe, and sharing the videos if you're sharing the videos. If you're not sharing the videos, just understand that it is something that helps the channel out greatly. So if you do support the channel, share the damn videos. As always, guys, hope you all stay happy out there. Please stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.